It's a tricky balance because we're moving more and more online. But emotional intelligence is about our attitudes and behaviours, how we regard ourselves, how we regard other people, our awareness of ourselves and awareness of other people. And therefore it's people-centric. Whether we're online or whether we're face-to-face doesn't really matter. But what does matter is that you have that awareness and that regard, and that somewhere online there is a person and you are speaking to a person. And we like to balance between the two.
A lot of people are afraid to switch off their phone, shut their laptop, go on holiday and really disconnect from the business because they don't have relationships that feel safe enough back in the office. So in our business, we make sure we check in regularly, one-to-ones, around performance, what we're doing, what's expected, are we delivering, all of that, but also how people are feeling. So we've got what we call the rising vibrational scale, which lists 1 to 22 emotions, and it's not a diagnostic, it's not scientific, it's a very intuitive tool. And we always say, so how are you feeling, what's going on? We start with that every time, which means we've got to know each other really, really well. So I think the digital connection thing is an issue because we've not got the human connection anymore.
In some ways, I think that digital and that world, that social media world, has contributed to the loss of connection. On the other hand, technology is able to bring, I think, a huge amount of good to us in this particular area of well-being and health. Because I think through technology, we're learning to connect with our own well-being, our own health, at not just a physical level, but at an emotional and at a mental level. But I think in order for us to reconnect, in order for us to find time to recover, to replenish, we've really got to become far more disciplined in the way in which we use technology.
I think there have been a lot of products, digital health products in the mental health space for many years now. And one of the things that's different over the past sort of 18 to 24 months is how those products are evolving and the quality of the new products that are coming into the market. So something that I've seen a lot of is, whereas in the past it was more about having people follow the computer's roadmap or answering questionnaires or being signposted a path that someone else has chosen to ask those questions. There's a lot more interfaces and chatbots following what the person is saying. So rather than the person following the computer, it's more the computer following the person, which opens up lots of opportunities with empathy and connecting. And it's interesting because it's not an easy feat. So the actual computing that needs to come for natural language processing has been tricky, which I think is why we haven't seen it until the past couple of years.
Big White Wall is impacting digital well-being by being a platform that is safe and that brings people together in a digital environment. The platform is continuously monitored by clinicians, but ultimately it's about people helping people. And so is really an example of great digital well-being.
We use app-based support for some of our clients with a mixture of face-to-face support as well. So all our interventions are done online, but the debriefs and the follow-ups are done face-to-face. And then the support is done via our app or via the telephone.
So with the book, it's 60 one-minute chapters, so each chapter literally takes 1 minute to read. And every single chapter has an exercise that you can do either physically or there's a little digital link to basically do a chapter digitally and do an exercise digitally. So you do the physical exercise, but then you do it digitally as well, and you can record those things as well. So it's a balance of kind of real time, kind of your own stuff, but also the digital time stuff as well.
Stress and anxiety and mental health issues, go across the board, from childhood right through to our older years. We know things like life transitions create huge amounts of stress. We know, for example, if you're in middle age, and of course we hear about automation in the workplace, and if you lose your job in your sort of 50s, and if you haven't been keeping up to date with digital technologies, of course that can be hugely sort of overwhelming. And conversely, access to digital health solutions, even in the plus 50s population, quite a lot of people are using these digital technologies. So I think what that means is I think we have a whole question we need to ask, which I know is very high on the map with the new NHSX team that have been built up, making sure that we're building technologies that don't leave anyone behind.